Welcome to Military Faith and Spiritual Resilience. This is Elizabeth Fulgaro. With me today is Alexandra Siliezar, sister to former U.S. Marine Abraham Siliezar. Hi, Alexandra.
Hi, Elizabeth.
I'm so glad that you could come and be here with us.
Thank you. I'm very honored to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
I'm so excited for you to share your story. It's your family's story. And I wonder if we could start with you sharing a little bit about how you became a military family.
Well, I am the daughter of a father who's now 91 years old, and he himself was in the military, in the Army. And he was always very proud. To this day, even at 91, he likes to keep up his routine of exercise and diligence, and always quotes the things that he learned in the military when he was, almost an adolescent, and even though he's 91. So we had that ingrained in our family of serving both your nation and discipline. And I also have an uncle who served in Vietnam in the Air Force, and several cousins who are Marines, retired Marines, and my other brother also in the Army, and my beloved Abraham was a Marine, a very proud Marine.
How did your family get interested in joining the military? Was there a reason that the military became something special for all of you?
I think that for my father being born in 1931 and coming of age, during World War II, and, seeing whatever happens throughout our history, whether it's Korea, Vietnam. And we are an immigrant family from El Salvador. And our own little small country went into a 10-year civil war. Now, we were blessed enough as children not to have witnessed that. But we are aware of our nation. We're aware of the world, and we're aware of our responsibilities as citizens. And I think that as you serve others, you also serve your nation.
That makes a lot of sense. Did you have family that was still in El Salvador?
I still do, yes. I have aunts and distant cousins, and that's it. But we were blessed enough to already have family here in the United States when we immigrated, and had a very smooth, easy transition as far as, most immigrant stories, having family here, and we had a lot of blessings along the way. So coming here was not as challenging for us.
When did your family come?
We came in 1978.
1978. So when your dad served, which army did he serve in?
In El Salvador.
In El Salvador.
Yes.
Okay. And so you came in 1978. How old were you?
I was about 11, almost 11.
Talk a little bit about that. That's a big change.
It was. We were, again, very blessed. We went in, we were attending private Catholic schools at the time. And now as an adult, looking back, having learned how the Catholic Church itself was really involved during the war in El Salvador. It's interesting, like the Bible says, rumors of war, and we would hear rumors. We were children, I was in a private school, and I would hear rumors, and sometimes the school would go on lockdown, but it was rumors, or, maybe there were threats. I don't know. To this day, I don't know. But it was a private boarding school for girls that I attended. And right around that time, I also heard rumors that we were immigrating, and I think my father and mother were really attuned with what was going on, and they thought, okay, it's time for us to be safe and leave, and we did. I didn't understand why, but I do now.
Makes sense. When was the war at its most severe in El Salvador?
The most severe, I do know it began in 1979. I would imagine in the 82, 80, 81, 81, 82, I think, was some of the most severe years.
So your parents heard rumors of war and they got you together and left.
Yes.
What was that journey like? How did you get to the U.S.?
Oh, well, it was quite great. I almost feel like the sound of music because my father packed us up and we came on a nice trip to go to Disneyland. And that was how we came. He had already traveled a lot to both the United States and other countries with his job. So getting visas were no trouble for him. And he brought 3 of his children, myself included, his wife, and 2 cousins. And we took a trip to Disneyland. And we came and visited family, visited Disneyland. And then we abided with the permit and returned to our country just for a little few months. And then we came back again. And then he applied for residency. And we were blessed enough to have that.
So he really knew what to do, and he took care of business.
He took care of business.
Yeah, and stayed on it. Where did you come to when you finally immigrated?
San Francisco. Well, first Los Angeles for Disneyland.
Of course. Of course. And then you came to San Francisco?
Yes, we had family here.
That's pretty terrific. What struck you as different? I mean, how was it for you integrating into a different society, different culture?
Very, very challenging because when you look at, as mentioned, I was in a private school for girls.
Yeah.
They all looked like me. What I mean by that is skin color and language and almost family structures to a lot of children of different ethnicities, compositions of family, meaning whether it's divorced or a single, parents or, just different personalities, different cultures, and not knowing the language. It was challenging, and leaving a nice home where I had my own bedroom to now lodging and sharing with my cousin, and sharing with my family, and not having my toys and not having my friends, and it was challenging.
How much were you able to bring with you?
I think maybe just a tiny bag of clothing. I honestly can't remember.
But you don't remember bringing a lot of your things.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't think we had that luxury of.
Where did you find a place to live?
Well, first with my family.
So you stayed with them?
With family, just for a short time until we rented our own home.
And your dad's job, what did he do in El Salvador, and how did work out here?
He was in charge of marketing for Mercedes-Benz in El Salvador. And so he was accustomed to traveling abroad to both check both on what Mercedes-Benz was offering and then going to infrastructures of different countries, seeing what they needed and brokering those 2 pieces. So he was used to traveling and brokering services.
Was he able to keep his job?
No, he changed jobs too.
Okay.
He was also having to learn English as well.
Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, so what did he change his job to?
He became a small business entrepreneur of himself, of his own at first, just and learning new skills as well. Whether it's being a handyman. At first, he did contact Mercedes, but my parents were also very much the grown-ups versus the children. They don't share, their ins and outs and how they make things happen. So I really don't know the early stages of how he searched for work.
So they tried to make it as seamless for you children as possible.
Always. They were very, to this day, they protect us, even though we're adults. They don't share adult matters, quote unquote.
Okay. So talk a little bit about that, having to learn the language. How did that go?
Oh, I have a vivid memory. When I was in 6th grade, walking into a classroom, I think it could have been the first day of school, and being asked probably, how was your summer, and tell us about your summer, and do an essay or answer the questions. But as a very good, diligent student in El Salvador, you write down everything the nun would write on the board. So everything I saw on the board, I wrote down, until a young lady next to me said, that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be answering the questions. And I left the classroom running because I had no idea what was being said and what was being asked of me to do.
Oh, my goodness. That would have been horrible.
It was an adjustment, you
Yeah.
know, and also what I meant earlier about being just in a school for girls, seeing boys. Was in a school with boys now, and before I was in a classroom that just, just we stay there and all day long with the same nun, and now I had to change from one class to the next and have lockers, and what is that, and we hear the word bullies now, but yes, kids making fun of us for not knowing the language, or maybe we look different. I'm not sure, but just, being on the side of just not knowing what was going on.
Were there others like you who were new to the country in your class or school?
Not that I remember, but within a couple of years, yes, more immigrants were coming in, and I, at this time, was more accustomed to seeing kids coming in. I met a young boy that I still remember. He came from Laos, and I met a few girls from Nicaragua, and it seemed like my tendency was to help them reintegrate into the culture, into the school system.
Knowing you, I'm not surprised that you would show them that kindness. I'm just not surprised. So about how long did it take for you to feel like it had stabilized for you language-wise and kind of knowing what the expectations were? How long did it take?
That question would be in different scenarios of timing. I think for me to stabilize, I would say a year. Stabilize more into language would be almost 2 to 3 years. And I think by 8th grade, I felt I was, A-okay.
What did it feel like? Were there things you missed? Because there was such a shift, right? Your normal was different.
Right.
Were there things that you felt were now lacking in the new?
Family cohesiveness changes, I think, when you're an immigrant family, because everyone is adapting, not just you.
Good point.
The mother is adapting to a new role in a new culture, that she does not have her routines or her church, even though we were in a new church, but it's not the same.
Right.
The foods, the weather, the easiness at home. At home in El Salvador, she didn't have to work, but now she worked. So she was a working mother of 3, a total new role for her. And as we know here in the United States, and especially in the Bay Area, you work night, all day long, the 8 hours, 9 hours a day. So you don't see your family as much. You see work all day, and you come home and you have to feed the kids, and you need to do the laundry, and just like what everyone else does, which is not necessarily in other countries. So everybody's adapting to a new role.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. How was the change for you to have mom working?
It was different, but at the same time, I was at school myself, and I was at home. When I returned from school, my brothers and I were there, and we would do our homework, and eventually Mom would come. And I was coming of age, so I had to learn how to cook. Probably I would have had to learn anyway, but somehow I seem to have learned a little, perhaps sooner than maybe I would have if it had been different. And so I took that cultural expectation of the girls cook for the family and for the boys. And so I had to learn how to do that. And I can't take credit for all of that. I think I was just learning pieces here and there. But as a child, you think, why do I have to do all of that?
Right.
And I was probably just making one meal a week. I don't know. But I'm like, why do I have to cook? You're still a kid.
Yeah,
but I was like 14, not 11, but maybe 14, 15.
By then?
Perhaps, yeah, if I can remember.
So your siblings, you said you had 2 brothers that came. Were there other siblings or just that
No,
there
just
were the
the
3
three
of
of
you?
us.
Okay. And what was the order of them? Like, are you oldest, youngest, middle? How does that look?
I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest.
Yes.
Okay. And you have your brother Abraham, and I don't know your other brother. So
Yes. So my other brother, I think we're about 1.5 years apart.
Okay.
So with Abraham and I, let's see. He was born in 1964. Yeah, so 3 years between us.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, and he was the middle? Or he
No,
was
Abraham was the oldest, yeah.
He was the oldest, okay, with the 1.5. Okay, so your other brother's in the middle. And where's your family now?
In San Francisco.
In San Francisco.
Yeah, we're still
okay.
there.
So your mom is still there, and your dad is still there, and you're still there. And let's pause here, if that's okay, because I would really like it if you could come back for the next episode. Will
I'd
that
be
work?
delighted.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you.